Sir, in AWS, what do we
So today we'll discuss about EC2. Yeah, tell me.
in AWS we want to know that which type of how many types of tools we have to study. Can you please tell me? Then it will be helpful for us. Then how many topics are left and
Sure,
all
sure.
these things.
Actually, still we are in the initial stage itself. First, today I'll explain what are
Okay.
the AWS services we have. Okay, say AWS approximately we have 230 plus services we have with the AWS. Okay, but a company like won't use all the 230 plus services. They don't use it. Okay, so it depends upon the like requirements. We are going to use those services, and the first service we are going to learn here is EC2. EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. Okay, I'll give a brief explanation on what EC2 is going to provide. Is EC2 is going to provide virtual computing environments or maybe virtual servers. Okay, so virtual servers have been provided by EC2. Okay, then VPC. VPC stands for Virtual Private Cloud. So in the Virtual Private Cloud, we are going to get the, so in the VPC, we are going to get our own virtual networks we are going to get. In the VPC, we are going to get the virtual networks. Okay, then EBS. What is EBS? Elastic Block Storage. Okay, if you want the persistency of hard disk, then we are going to use the EBS volumes. Okay, so we are going to use EC2 for, can you tell me what is EC2? EC2 is used for virtual servers. That computing environment, we are going to get it from EC2. And what is VPC? Virtual Private Cloud. Our own networks, we are going to get it through VPC. Okay, so then what is EBS? Elastic Block Storage. EBS stands for Elastic Block Storage. Our own networks we can configure from EBS. Our own networks we can configure from the EBS. Okay, so then like here we are going to get the volumes, persistence, just like normally we'll have the hard disk, right? So here we are going to get the volumes here. Okay, then so we are going to use the next service is IAM. IAM stands for Identity and Access Management. Okay, say in the real time, first once we create the AWS account, we are going to use IAM itself because we need to delegate the administration rights to different type of users or roles. So we need to use IAM kind of thing. Okay, so why we are using IAM? Why you are using IAM? Identity and Access Management. IAM is used for identity and access management. So in the real time, first we are going to use the IAM. Later we'll create the resources. Okay, and in the real time, first we'll create the network also. But as of now, what we are using is we are using default VPC. That means for every account, for every region, AWS is going to provide the default VPC. That VPC we are going to use. Then we have one more important service is there called as RDS, Relational Database Services. So what is the concept of RDS is? We are going to use like a structured query language, SQL kind of databases. So we have Mysql is there, mssqlserver is there, postgre, Redis, not Redis, sorry, mariadb, or maybe IBM DB2. So we have the relational databases. Those relational databases are available as a service called as RDS. So here EC2, VPC, EBS mostly comes under IaaS. IaaS stands for Infrastructure as a Service. RDS comes under it's a PaaS-based service. RDS comes under PaaS-based service. PaaS-based means it's a platform as a service. And we have one more database related service called as Elastic Cache. In the Elastic Cache, we are getting two databases. One is Redis and Memcache. So what is the difference between RDS and Elastic Cache also we'll discuss. Then Dynamo DB. Dynamo DB is also one database, and Document DB is also one database service. So these all mostly we have database related. RDS, Elastic Cache, Dynamo DB, Document DB we have. Then EBS we have is for storage. Then EFS, Elastic File System we have. Elastic File System. Say mostly you want to access the file shares. For that purpose, we are using EFS. Okay. Then another very important service called as S3, Simple Storage Service. Simple Storage Service. Okay, say mostly simple storage service is an object level storage. So around we have 9 to 10 services we have. Okay, so try to remember these service names. We'll discuss more also. But first we should have a basic knowledge. What is the purpose of that service? Okay, so can you tell me what is the meaning of EC2? What is the meaning of EC2?
Elastic Compute Cloud.
Yeah, Elastic Compute Cloud. So what is the purpose of that EC2?
We can use virtual server on this instance.
Yeah, say from the EC2 we are getting virtual servers. Mostly that computing resources we are getting. So mostly that, computing resources we are getting from the AWS cloud. Okay. So then we are getting networking also, and that networking is available from which service?
VPC.
VPC stands for
Virtual Private Cloud.
Yeah, as the name suggests, it's a virtual private cloud. It doesn't mean it provides a private cloud. It is providing us our own virtual networks. It is providing our own virtual networks have been provided. Okay, so then what is EBS? What is the meaning of EBS is?
It's Elastic Block Storage.
Elastic Block Storage. Okay, so now normally in our laptop, can you tell me which component may be equivalent to EBS?
Hard disk.
Yeah, hard disk kind. So suppose if you restart your instance or if you shut down your instance, your data is not we are not losing our data, right?
Yeah, for persistence.
For the persistency of our EC2 instance data, we are going to use EBS volumes. So EBS volumes we are going to use. And what is IAM?
But this EBS is purely for the DB storage, right? I mean database recording.
Not for database, for the EC2 instance data.
Oh, okay, I understand.
Even if you have a RDS also, in the backend it would be EBS.
Okay.
For the database also we'll use the EBS, but as of now we are discussing for EC2 perspective.
Okay.
Okay, say what is the meaning of persistency? Even if you restart, shut down, even sometimes if you terminate the instance also, our EC2 instance data is persistent with the EBS volumes. Okay, it's a block level storage. Why it is called as block level storage, we'll discuss. Okay, so we have different storages also. Another important storage is EFS. What is that? EFS stands for Elastic File System. Why I am insisting more on the definitions or that acronym kind of things is we should know, we shouldn't tell a wrong word. Okay, it gives very wrong impression if you tell EFS means Elastic File Server. Like this, if you tell, it gives a wrong impression kind of thing. Nothing is going to happen. Okay, but we should know all this terminology. And what is the meaning of IAM? What is the meaning of IAM?
Identity access management.
Identity and access management. Say suppose in our company, assume we have 1,000 employees. Everyone doesn't log in as a root user itself. Okay, everyone can't use as a root user. For everyone, we need to delegate their own username, passwords, and we can create the groups, multi-factor authentications, policies. All these we can do a lot of things from IAM. Okay, IAM provides authentication and authorization for our AWS resources. Okay, so then database-wise, very important service, and one of the important PaaS-based service also is Relational Database Service. Okay, so EC2 all this comes under EC2 all this comes under IaaS services, infrastructure as a service. Okay, so VPC also comes under IaaS. EBS also comes under IaaS kind of service. There is RDS, Elastic Cache, Dynamo DB, Documento DB. So these all comes under PaaS-based services. Okay, so then what is the meaning of Elastic Cache is it provides NoSQL kind of databases, and it is supporting as of now 2 engines. What are those 2 engines? What are the
Dynamo
2
DB,
engines?
document DB.
No. Elastic Cache is supporting 2 engines, that is Redis and Memcache. If the development team want Redis clusters or Memcache, then we need to go for Elastic Cache. Okay, if our company want SQL kind of databases like Mysql or postgre, otherwise not Redis again, mariadb. Then we have a Microsoft SQL Server, Oracle, IBM DB2. Okay, if you want, these all called as relational databases. And AWS also has provided their own database called as Aurora also. Aurora is the database developed by RDS, but it's nothing but it's a MySQL fork. Means MySQL code itself they have like used and they have developed Aurora. Okay, so can you tell me what are the database engines supported by RDS? MySQL, postgre, mariadb, mssql server, Oracle, IBM DB2, and Aurora. In Aurora, again, we have 2 engines. One is MySQL fork, and postgre also is supported. Okay, but Elastic Cache is providing Redis and Memcache. Dynamo DB is a serverless NoSQL kind of database. What is that serverless? We'll discuss. Documento DB is MongoDB compatible. The MongoDB compatible database is Documento DB. And what EFS provides is Elastic File System. In our company, we'll have the file servers or file shares like Windows file systems or NFS kind of servers or NAS kind of servers. Those all we are moving to cloud itself. And S3. S3 stands for, what is S3?
Simple storage service.
Simple storage service. What is the concept of simple storage services? Everyone are using maybe OneDrive or Google Drive, right? What is the
Yes.
meaning of OneDrive or Google Drive? Why we are using? So to store the data as an object, and you can copy your documents, images, videos, whatever the data you want to keep, you can keep, and we can access from anywhere. Otherwise, iPhone users have one cloud. Any idea? iPhone users having one cloud. iPhone provides iCloud. Okay, so it's also an object level storage itself. But from AWS wise, what we have is S3. S3 stands for simple storage service. We can access the data from anywhere, and we can access the data from anywhere. We can download also. We can upload from anywhere. We can download from anywhere also, and that is called as S3. So these are all the very, very important service and basic services of AWS. Hence, like most of the people are already used these services. We also need to gain good knowledge. And another important service is Cloudwatch. Cloudwatch is used for monitoring AWS resources. In order to monitor AWS resources, we have the Cloudwatch service. Previously, we need to use the monitoring third-party services like Nagios, Zabbix, SolarWinds. So these are all very expensive kind of monitoring solutions. But now we can use directly Cloudwatch itself. Can you tell me what is Cloudwatch? So Cloudwatch is used to monitor our AWS resources. Then we have one more service called as Cloud Trial. What is the concept of Cloud Trial is? In the Cloud Trial, we are going to audit administrative events. We are going to audit the administrative events, or we can track all the administrative events. Suppose we have 1,000 guys. Through which service we are creating 1,000 usernames, all those permissions, all those. How we are creating? Using which service we are creating those users, all those?
Administration.
No. So using IAM we are creating. Okay.
Identity access management.
Yeah, using IAM, I created 1,000 users, but yesterday night, one instance is deleted. Like we don't know who deleted that. Okay. So now here my doubt is how we can track that who deleted that instance, either from Cloudwatch or Cloud Trial.
From Cloud Trial.
Cloud Trial. Then can you tell me why we use Cloudwatch? If that instance is running, I want to monitor that resource like CPU utilization, data related, or maybe how much disk IO operations are happening. Okay, so like this will have the monitoring information is Cloudwatch. Auditing or administrative events can be tracked from
Administrative services. Audit service.
No, that is Cloud Trial. So here we have two services. One is Cloudwatch. Second one is Cloud Trial. Cloudwatch is used for
monitoring purpose.
Cloud Trial is used for
tracking purpose.
Yeah, administrative events can be tracked. That definitely all these use cases people will ask us in the interview. They will tell the use case, then which service we need to use, they will ask us. Okay, so after this, there is one more important service is there, SNS. SNS stands for Simple Notification Service. So if you want to send an email, or if you have an application, if you want to push one notification, normally if you install one app or WhatsApp, you will get a push notification, right? Maybe new message comes like this. For that, we are going to use an SNS notification. We can send email or we can send SMS kind of thing or app pushing kind of things also. Notifications, we can push it. As the name suggests, simple notification service. Then recently they have given new service. This is email also. They have differentiated simple email. If you want to send any multimedia kind of emails, those also SCS is supporting simple email service. Then another one, SQS. Simple queuing service. We need to know what are message queues and all those also. For that, we have one service from the AWS is SQS service. Simple queuing service. Then very important service, Lambda. Lambda is a serverless kind of AWS service. Without requiring any single server, we can deploy our dynamic websites using Lambda. So once, like if anyone asks Lambda, we need to remember like it's a serverless. All these days or all these years, once we develop the application code, developer job is done, then that build and release team, deployment team is going to release that in the servers. They are going to maintain the web servers, application servers, SMTP servers, Active Directory, SNMP, reporting services, AA services. For all these, we need a huge number of servers. Okay, maybe 200 to 2000 servers also may be required. I'll tell one use case. For the first time, when Flipkart conducted 1 million sale, 1 billion sale, they use more than 5,000 servers. Okay, that means the same Flipkart application itself. But why that should be deployed in 5,000 servers? The scalability is very high from the users. The scalability is very high from the users. Okay, so but if I go for Lambda, can you tell me what is the advantages? Without requiring any single server also, we can deploy our applications. Without requiring any single server also, we can deploy our applications. So for that, we are going to use the Lambda kind of service. Okay, so then there is one more service is there, Beanstalk. So Beanstalk is used for mostly configuration management. I'll tell one more example. Again, developer develop a code on Java, .NET, PHP, whatever it may be the framework on top of PHP. If you want to deploy that application, again, if it is a like a servers environment we are using, we need to configure a lot of servers. We have a lot of manual work is there. But if I go for a Beanstalk, I hope everyone know how to attach a attachment in Gmail. Okay, everyone can attach attachment in the Gmail, right? In the same way, we can attach our code, remaining all the setup taken care by Beanstalk. We have already the pre-configured environments, like you want to deploy on Java, you want to deploy on Docker, you want to deploy on .NET, you want to deploy on Cake PHP, Laravel PHP. That's like maybe Node.js, Python, Go language, Ruby. So like this, already the pre-configured environments are there. On the fly, easily we can deploy our applications using Beanstalk. Automatically, we can deploy our applications using Beanstalk. Okay. So what is the difference between Lambda and Beanstalk is Beanstalk backend, again, we are using servers. Okay. But the main advantage is we no need to configure those. We no need to configure those servers. Who will configure those? Beanstalk itself will configure. Okay. So just we need to use them. Just we need to use them. Okay, so that is the purpose we are going to use Beanstalk. Okay, Lambda is one service, Beanstalk is one service, and there is one more IAC solution from AWS. That IAC solution from the AWS is Cloudformation. What is the meaning of IAC? Infrastructure as a code. Infrastructure as a code. In the IAC, there is a leader is there called as Terraform. Okay, but we are going to use from AWS wise Cloudformation. Okay, can you tell me the difference between Cloudformation and Terraform? Cloudformation is AWS inbuilt solution, whereas Terraform is third-party leader in IAC, supports multiple providers. What is that meaning of multiple providers here? AWS is just one provider for them, but Terraform supports Azure, GCP, more than 1,000 providers they will support. Okay, but what is the similarity between Cloudformation and Terraform? What is the similarity between Cloudformation and Terraform? Okay, both are IACs only.
Infrastructure as code.
Yeah, infrastructure as code. So at the end of the course, provisioning the resources through GUI is not our expectation. Okay, we should provision the resources through Terraform kind of tools. Or maybe AWS inbuilt solution is, what is AWS inbuilt solution?
Cloudform.
Cloudformation. So Cloudformation also we can use it. Okay, so then another very, very important service is there called as Route 53. This is very, very important service. You deploy your application on AWS, you may use a lot of services in the backend. Okay, but the DNS, that means suppose if you click one website, so assume cloudsoftsolved.com, it need to redirect to one server. That is the role of DNS server in the internet. Everyone are using internet, right? That how the website is opening is in the backend, the DNS is working. But what is the AWS DNS service? What is AWS DNS service name?
Route 53.
Route 53. Here, why they kept name as the best name for this is AWS DNS. So suppose what is the best suitable name is AWS DNS. Why they kept as Route 53 is the DNS port number is 53. What is the DNS port number? 53. That is the reason AWS kept the name as, okay, Route 53. If you go for any shared website hosting providers, they also provide the same service. Okay, any shared hosting companies also will provide the same service. Okay, but here AWS is very powerful, high scalable, high available DNS servers it provides, and the service name is Route 53. Okay, so then another next important service is AWS directory service. I'll explain what is the directory service means. Normally, when you join in a company, assume I'll take an example, maybe we join in a company wipro.com or maybe cognizant.com, cts.com or capgemini.com. That company will have a domain name. Who maintain the domain name is like they will have a directory service. That's normally it's called as Active Directory. But that Active Directory service name from the AWS wise is it's a directory service, AWS directory service. So we no need to maintain Active Directories. If you understand, we no need to maintain databases. We no need to maintain storage. We no need to maintain like SMTP kind of servers, SNMP kind of servers, message queues, or maybe we no need to maintain Active Directory, DNS, DHCP. Okay, so everything is now available as service and use that service itself. Previously, each and everything we need 200 or 2000 servers also. It requires lot of servers, lot of admins, lot of networking, lot of maintenance kind of activities are there. Now AWS is going to reduce all those kind of job roles. Everyone need to move to cloud itself. And using Lambda, developers directly can deploy their code also. If they don't want serverless, directly they can deploy the code using Beanstalk also. Even we have new techniques also there, like Lambda is one of the very advanced technology as of now also. Even we have microservice kind of applications also. Those also we'll discuss. Then AWS Workspace. It's a VDI kind of solution. What is a VDI is? It's a virtual desktop infrastructure. In the EC2, we are not getting desktops. In your laptop, what is the operating system we have is maybe to like Windows 10 or maybe Windows 11 we have. Okay, but in the server class, we are going to maintain 2012 or 2016 or 2019 kind of servers or 2022. 2023, I think. Okay, so these servers we will have. But if you go for the AWS EC2, those are not providing a desktop class like Windows 10 or Windows 11. They are providing server class. But if you want desktops, then we need to go for Workspace. Okay, it's Workspace is providing the desktops. Even Workspace or Azure AVD, these all provides the desktop class. Demand for this also is increasing. Previously, for this VDI, we have Citrix is the leader. Okay, but Microsoft also is coming with AVD. AWS came with AWS Workspace. Then very important service from the job market wise is EKS, Elastic Kubernetes Service. So in order to understand Kubernetes service, first we require Kubernetes, then we'll come to EKS. Then on top of containers, we have ECS, Elastic Container Service. Then ECR, Elastic Container Registry we have. So what is this registry also I'll explain in the Docker. These three are related to containers and the container orchestration kind of softwares. So the containers and the container kind of orchestration kind of softwares, we have EKS, ECS, and ECR. Can you tell me these names? What is the meaning of EKS? What is the name of the
Elastic Kubernetes.
Elastic Kubernetes Service? ECS stands for
Elastic Kubernetes Service.
ECS.
Sorry, Container Service.
Yeah, Elastic Container Service. And ECR wise?
Elastic Container Registry.
Registry we have. Elastic Container Registry we are going to have. Okay. Then, like there are some DevOps related services also from AWS. AWS having code commit. Okay. So then this is equivalent to GitHub kind of service. Okay. For every DevOps service, there is an equivalent service from AWS wise also. And there is an equivalent service from Azure wise also. Okay, so AWS code commit is equal to version control systems. Then AWS code pipeline. This is nothing but Jenkins kind of thing. AWS code build. We can build it. Then AWS code deploy. And all these integratedly, like we can use AWS Code Star. Okay, then X-ray is one service. It's a for monitoring itself. X-ray why will take for body? It shows the deep, like what's happening on the bones, all these, right? Here in the AWS X-ray will show us deep insights regarding your application or infrastructure. For that, we can use the X-ray kind of service. Okay, so then on top of this, we need to understand like KMS, Key Management System. What is that KMS? I will explain. Then AWS auto scaling, AWS ELB. ELB stands for Elastic Load Balancers. Elastic Load Balancers actually is not a service. It is part of EC2 only. So we'll discuss in that Elastic Load Balancers also. Then landing zone and another 5 to 6 security related services also I will explain. So security services like web application firewall or guard duty. Then we have backup related AWS backups we can use, database backups, because that's also part of SRE kind of roles. Okay, 5 to 6 security services, backup related, SRE kind of job roles. So mostly like we have chosen infrastructure related, PaaS related, and DevOps related, security related services. But additional to this, AWS having lot of like AI kind of solutions, BI kind of solutions, machine learning, data warehousing, DevOps. So those also other services also I'll try to give a brief idea. Okay. So but today if we discuss it would be vast. So some of the important services try to write down, and as an AWS admin, each and every service name, at least we should have a basic knowledge. Going forward next 2 to 3 years, explore more AWS services also. At least should have a basic knowledge on that. Why that service is required. If you have business demand, we can learn, because no organization or maybe one single project may not use all the services. Maybe organization level may be used by some companies, but in one project, we don't use all the services. These services, what we have written itself is good enough for our background kind of job roles we have chosen. But maybe machine learning guy may learn some services, data engineers may learn more services, their relevant services they may choose. Depends upon the job position they are going to apply. Okay. So I'll revise once again. EC2 stands for Elastic Compute Cloud. And what is ELB? What is ELB? ELB is Elastic Load Balancer. VPC is Virtual Private Cloud. It's a virtual network. Then EBS, Elastic Block Storage. IAM, Identity and Access Management. RDS is a Relational Database Service. Elastic Cache, Redis and Memcache kind of things. Dynamo DB is a serverless database. Document DB. Okay, EFS, Elastic File System. S3, Simple Storage Service. So S3 is nothing but, as of now, our understanding is internet storage. That means anywhere in the world you can upload the files. From anywhere in the world you can download the files also. But the technical term is an object level storage. It's an object level storage. Then we have Cloudwatch. Cloudwatch is used for
monitoring.
Yeah, monitoring. Cloud Trail is used for auditing.
Tracking.
Yeah, SNS is used for simple notification. SCS is used for simple email service. Okay, then SQS, developers should have very good knowledge on the SQS also. Simple queuing service. Then what is Lambda? The Lambda is a serverless to deploy our applications without requiring any single server also. We can use the Lambda. Then Beanstalk. Beanstalk also directly we can, developers itself directly can deploy, update their applications also. But backend it have the servers. That configuration we don't need to do it on behalf of us. AWS itself is doing that configuration. AWS itself is doing that configuration for us. Okay. So then, what is the IAC solution from AWS? What is the AWS IAC solution?
Infrastructure as Cloudformation inbuilt solution.
Cloudformation, infrastructure as a code wise. Cloudformation is the service name. Then what is the AWS DNS service? What is
It's
the
a
DNS? Route 53. Route 53 is the DNS service name. Then we have like normally we'll maintain Active Directory or LDAP kind of servers. That service name from the AWS wise is AWS Directory Service. Okay. Then what is AWS Workspace? It provides VDI. Can you tell me the difference between EC2 and Workspace? What is the difference between EC2 and Workspace? EC2 provides server class OS only. Okay, but whereas desktop class OS like Windows 7, Windows 10, Windows 11, okay, so these all called as desktop class. That is maintained by
AWS Workspace.
AWS Workspace. And here we have one more is there called as AppStream, whereas AppStream is used to deliver the applications also. It's also part of VDI itself, but instead of desktops, we're getting applications. So not that much important service, but we have EKS. EKS stands for
Elastic
Kubernetes Service. And what is ECS?
Elastic Container Service.
Container Service. And ECR is Elastic Container Registry. Elastic Container Registry we have. EKS, ECS, ECR are very, very important services if you want to develop any microservice kind of applications. If you want to develop any microservices, okay, Beanstalk can't support microservices. Definitely we are going to use either EKS or ECS. Okay, then can you tell me what is AWS code commit?
It's code repository.
Code management. Yeah,
it's GitHub.
Yeah, it's a GitHub kind of tool. If you don't want to use GitHub, you want to use any AWS service itself, then we need to use code commit. And if you don't want to use Jenkins, this kind of, I'll explain one class on DevOps, then you will understand all this. AWS code pipeline, code builder, code deploy, code star. Okay, so that means our company don't want to use other DevOps tools. Only AWS itself we want to use. Then these are all the services. Okay, then we have X-ray. X-ray is used for monitoring itself. Okay, there are some container insights, all those also we'll discuss. And KMS is used for key management kind of systems. We can create our own encryption keys, all those. And there is one more important service is there. AWS Certificate Manager. AWS Certificate Manager. We can create our own TLS kind of or SSL kind of certificates also. And auto scaling, load balancers, AWS landing zones, and 5 to 6 security services, web application firewall, like these also security related, then backup related services also. And we can manage the REST APIs, all those through API gateway. Okay, so then like another 5 to 10 new services also we'll discuss. Okay, any doubts on this? Any doubts on this?
In the Lambda, you're saying it's a serverless AWS services, right?
Yes, yes.
What does it mean serverless? It means
Serverless means, say, suppose assume you have developed 20 microservices.
okay.
So the 20 microservices directly we can deploy as a functions itself. Okay, that means that is directly the functions itself, we can deploy that code. Whenever we call that function, that normally it execute in an app server. Your business logic, what you have written will be executing as a container or one app server. But without requiring any server, AWS itself will provide a serverless kind of environment. In that your Lambda functions are executing. If 100 users calls that function also, backend it would be that scalability would be provided by AWS itself. But they will charge more amount if 1 million users hit that function. If no one hit that, we no need to pay single money also.
Okay.
But if 1 million people hit that function, then backend it is running that and that functionality also is working. For that, we need to pay more amount.
Okay.
So that is called as serverless kind of thing.
But that function has to be deployed. I mean, it needs to be onto the app server, you are saying, right? I mean,
no need of app server here. If you take an app server is traditional method.
Okay. Yeah, that is traditional method. Whatever we write, the function
you can
will be
take an
executing on
EC2
server.
instance and that we can. But here no need of any server also.
So on AWS
AWS itself will provide that computing environment for you. Based on the usage, they will charge the money.
But for our understanding, we can say AWS is a server to run that function, right?
Yeah, AWS will provide a computing environment for that, but it's not only for you.
Yeah.
Okay. So everyone can use those Lambda, that pre-configured environments.
Okay.
Okay. But based on your usage, you are paying the money. So which
Based on the traffic
will prefer to Lambda is a startup kind of companies will go, or maybe bigger MNCs also, a POC is there.
Yeah.
You got a very good idea or innovation, but we don't have a budget to host all the servers, all that. Directly we can deploy on a serverless. Okay, most of the startups also, because assume I have an application, I want to maintain 2 web servers, 2 app servers, 2 DB instances.
Okay.
Minimum itself I want managing 1 SMTP, 2 SMTP, 2 SNMPs, okay, message queues, okay, some of the reporting services. These all if I manage, huge amount I need to pay to them, whether my application is success or failure.
Yeah.
Okay, but if I go for a serverless kind of services, for every here the requirement for database, there is a serverless. For Active Directory, there is a serverless. You no need to maintain, you no need to pay a single rupee also if you don't have the usage. Okay, you got the success, then you can pay for that.
Okay.
So that means today, if you want to deploy an applications, either you can use directly EC2 kind of thing, servers, or Beanstalk kind of thing, or serverless, or EKS or ECS. So which one we are focusing more is EKS, ECS, because enterprise companies are preferred to use that method compared to EC2 also is a gone case. Okay. So either we have serverless or either we have
EKS.
serverless or yeah. So these services we are going to maintain. Okay.
Yeah, I got some basic ideas.
Yeah. Now most of these AWS services, we are going to manage from, like I said, right, you need to create an account. We went for AWS management console. We have AWS management console. What is nothing but it's a web-based GUI console. It's a web-based GUI console. We can create AWS resources. The second method is we can use AWS command line, which is called as AWS CLI. Or we can use here itself Cloud Shell. So that means we are creating the resources through CLI also. Developers can use SDK or CDK exposed by AWS. So today everyone expose their APIs or SDKs or CDKs. Okay, so using those APIs or SDKs, developers directly can use, like using Java, .NET, Python, they can write the code. Then we have ISV.
CDK means code
development kit.
Code development.
Okay, so ISV means we have Cloudformation.
Terraformation.
Yeah, Terraform comes under, there are a lot of third-party tools also.
Multiple providers. Yeah.
There are a lot of third-party tools because remaining all are provided by AWS, but we can use the third-party tools also to provision the resources. Say, among these, can you guess what is the expectation from the client today? What is the expectation from the client to provision the resources? Okay, so IAC is is the expectation. IAC stands for
infrastructure as code.
Infrastructure as a code. Infrastructure as a code. We are going to use IAC kind of solution. Among the Cloudformation and Terraform also, we need to know both, but strong expertise on Terraform is required.
Okay.
The basic exposure towards Cloudformation. Okay, but we require good exposure towards
Terraform. Okay. Srikant, do you have anything like a CDS, the core data services, the way we have the CDK?
No. That is the term. That's it. Is normally it's an API or SDK itself.
Okay.
So CDK is a general term now we are getting using that AWS CDK. Like we can use Java APIs or .NET APIs. We can develop that.
Okay.
Okay. They are calling as instead of code, they are calling as Cloud Development Kit.
Okay.
It's an open source development framework. Okay, which exposes the say Google Developer Edition will give a lot of APIs, right? For the Google, like any developer can use that.
Yeah.
Like this, AWS also is exposing that development framework called as CDK. So what you asked is core
data service, that is that I saw in SAP Cloud Platform.
Yeah,
So,
they may be their terminology maybe.
Yeah.
But here also there are some data services are there, data lake, this kind of data related services we have.
Okay.
Okay, so terminology, but here previously we have SDK, but now they're bringing to CDK kind of concept.
Okay.
Okay, they're calling that as a cloud development kit. But some companies will use code development kit also for that. That's maybe changes from product to product. Okay, so these are all the different methods. First, we'll learn from GUI. Going forward, we'll learn from Terraform is our target. Provisioning the resources from Terraform. Okay, so today people are expecting to provision the resources through Terraform itself. Okay, so from Monday onwards, I'll show practically all these things. Okay, from Monday, I'll show all this practically. Meanwhile, try to create one AWS account. Okay?
Yeah, sure, Srikanth.
Okay, sure.